Gamakay is back with their new and improved TK75 version 2, and thank you to Gamakay for sponsoring this video. Inside the box you get the keyboard itself, a wire, a keycap and switch puller, a manual, and a 2.4 Hz dongle. This is an improvement compared to the version 1, and I think the most obvious changes has to be with the fact that it comes with a small little screen, an RGB bar next to the home page up, page down, and the keycaps are a lot cleaner looking, which is one of my biggest complaints I had on the version 1. The great thing is the price point is still pretty affordable at around $80 US, so this keyboard is available in two different switch options, the Phoenix V2s, which are silent linears, and the Pegasus V2s, which are silent tactiles. And thankfully, I have both of them here today. They both sound pretty similar, of course, because they are silent switches, but I'm happy to say that the out-of-box experience is quite decent. The linears do feel slightly mushier than the tactiles, but that's probably just because tactile switches have a tactile bump, so the mushiness is not as noticeable, but I don't think either of them are really bad in that department. This is a gasket top mounted keyboard, so you can have gaskets or you can use screws. It's up to you with what you want to do, but they do include those screws inside the box as well. The keycaps are cherry profile, which means the keyboard itself is actually south facing, which is awesome to see. And another cool thing to see is if you still like RGB but want cherry profile keycaps, these do have light diffusers on the switches, so they pretty much don't have a noticeable difference in terms of the RGB brightness and light diffusion compared to north facing switches. The battery is 4000 milliamps and the case material is an ABS plastic. Now unfortunately the plate is alloy or aluminum. I would have probably wished to have seen more like a polycarbonate here for a little bit more flex in this keyboard because it is filled with foam. They have case foam, they have plate foam, they have PE foam. Since this is a silent keyboard, I don't think the PE foam is really necessary, but I guess if you wanted to swap out switches, using plastic keyboards with PE foam is something that's pretty common. The stabilizers are plate mounted, but that does mean they're easier to mod. Thankfully mine came pretty good right out of the box, so I didn't have to lose them at all. The knob is your pretty standard aluminum knob, nothing pretty crazy about that. And in general, there's nothing really crazy about this keyboard's design. Now I will say that the edges of this keyboard case are quite sharp or rough, and I was not a big fan of that. I think they could have been a lot smoother. Now me personally, I've never been a big fan of screens on keyboards in general, but this one does have something that I think a lot of people might enjoy, and that is the fact that it doesn't really use an OLED screen, it uses a TFT screen, which doesn't have the deepest of blacks compared to an OLED, but you won't run into burn-in issues like you do on OLED screens in the future. And if you are using this wirelessly, this screen takes up a lot less battery as it is more energy efficient as well. And of course it is very easy to use as you don't really even need to download any softwares either. This keyboard is pretty good right out of the box. It sounds pretty silent, and the flex department is okay at best. You know, it's not the greatest gasket mount, especially because this keyboard is filled to the brim with foam, so there's not really any room. Plus the plate is very stiff, of course, because it is aluminum, so you don't really get that flex. So if you're looking for a flexi keyboard, this one might not be for you, but in the area of silent keyboards, I do think this one does have a lot going for it. Here's a quick sound test of both switches so you guys can hear how they sound. So yeah, overall I do think it's a good bang for your buck, especially if you're looking for a silent keyboard, because the 2 switch options they include are very solid. I do wish the case was a little bit smoother on the edges as it is a little bit rough, but other than that I'll be leaving a link to this keyboard in the description below. Let me know what you guys thought about the Gamakay TK75 version 2 in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.